is a recap of day 4 of the LEILANI Simon trial. WSAV News is source number 1. Thank you.
Our top story tonight, it is day 4 of the LEILANI Simon trial.
Testimony continued today with several witnesses taking the stand, and new evidence has been admitted. Judge Tammy Stokes dismissing the jury just before 5:30. WSAV's Haley Fedko has been in the courtroom since the trial started.
Thank you.
She is joining us now with some of the key moments of the day.
Good evening to you, Tina and Ben. It has been such an eventful day in the courtroom today. The jury hearing from 8 witnesses, starting this morning with the cross-examination of Daniel Youngkin, that's Simon's ex-boyfriend. The jury also hearing from several of Simon's acquaintances or former friends. One telling the jury she conducted a seance and spoke with the ghost of Quentin Simon. Now, one of the most shocking moments of the day, text messages that were previously denied by Judge Tammy Stokes to be admitted as evidence were admitted today. The state says the evidence indicates Simon's sexual relationship with her drug dealer. The defense team vehemently objecting to their admission. Here's part of that exchange.
It's a little salacious, but it's the facts of the case. The case that she created. I mean, I didn't write these messages. I didn't go visit Craig. This is the evidence.
Wow.
Now, like we said, the day just wrapped, and right before it did, the jury did hear from a minor witness. Now, testimony is expected to continue tomorrow morning, and I'll give you the latest update tomorrow at this time. Reporting live in Savannah, Kaylee Petco, WSAV News 3, on your side.
Kaylee, thank you.
All right, everybody.
Every space is different.
News story is the source. Sorry about that. Wow. The district attorney says, I didn't send the text. I didn't write the text. I didn't write the text. He was so genuine when he said that. His facial expression. I didn't write the text. It's evidence. So the judge allowed it in. I wonder why the judge changed her mind. And I also like to know, Judge, why do you keep delaying the audio, the video feed? What's the big deal? Everybody in America knows she's on trial. So what's up with this hour delay, 30-minute delay? Help the queen understand, because I'm confused, because it's annoying as hell. Get on with it. Well, what is going to change? You don't have that many people in the courtroom. So what is it? So what is the problem with the delay? I'm confused. Maybe somebody can help the queen understand. Hello, everybody in the chat. Thank you so much. Let's chop that up before I get into source number 2, which is going to recap what was just said here. Because I got to go ahead and say something. Queen knows her SHIT, does she not? What did I tell you all the other day? Please check out the last live streams, because they're very informative to this now new information. What did I say in the last live pertaining to LEILANI and Danny? I said he was not happy. She was not happy. Why was he there? So today I put up a question on the community page. Feel free to comment. Why didn't he leave? Because obviously he was not happy. She wasn't happy. Nobody was happy in that house. What did I tell you? This house was a barn. This was just a place for billy goats and coyotes and giraffes and shit to just graze and sleep, slumber off, slough off dead skin cells, okay? Why did he leave? You're going to hear he felt some type of way about keeping her kids. And that's going to be interesting as well, because as I said to you all before in that same live stream, why did he lie? Why did Daddy lie and say he saw Quentin in the play pack and play? Okay? Because I told you all then, I never trusted anybody, because you can't trust people when there's a dead body, missing body. Everybody is presumed guilty, in my opinion. Presumed innocent. That's court of law talk. But we're talking about being out here in the street and looking at people every day. Yeah, we're looking at presuming guilty. Why didn't he leave her? Did he know that she was messing around? Did he know she was messing with the drug dealer? I think it's interesting that he testified that she was snooped through his phone. She was suspecting he was doing something. Well, we now know why she was snooping, because she was on the slide with the dope man. I love it. You can't make this stuff up. But that's an old saying. The person who is doing all the accusing, the person that's doing all the snooping and going through pockets and purses and wallets and iPhones, that's the one that's cheating. Checkmate. That's the one that's cheating, the one that's doing all the accusing. You cheated on me. I think you like her. I think you like him. What's going on? You didn't come back. He could have left her. So see, Danny is that rare breed. The guy that goes to work, even though he has some vices, he's using drugs, he's drinking. I'm going to bring you that commentary too. He was using drugs too, because I mentioned that in the live stream. Everything I already said in the other live is now playing out in the courtroom. Checkmate. I question if he used drugs, because what did I say? Why would a man be with a woman that used drugs and he don't get high? Well, we now know he was getting high too. That's why he was drinking every day. He was miserable. And what did I tell you? You can be miserable on your own. You don't need no help. You can be miserable with your own insecurities. You don't need no extra shit. So then you got to question, how did he really feel about the children? Checkmate. Because nobody's going to go into court and say, hey, I hated these kids. I got tired of babysitting. I got tired of trying to care for this lady. I got tired of getting high, getting drunk. I got tired of looking at her coming in drunk, high. Stay woke. Nobody's going to tell that. Hey, I'm burdened out. Hey, I'm sick of living in this house with her. Hey, I'm sick of her mom coming home crying and moaning about us being here. And we're filthy pigs and we're sloughing off dead skin cells in her house. Stay woke. Oh, yeah. Guilty dog indeed. So all this time she's worried about Danny, and she's the one on the sly. Remember he testified? Oh, yeah, she'd step out at night. I don't know where she was going. I just came home, worked, made meals, got the kids ready, and she's tipping out with the dope man. You can't make this up. She ain't sleeping with just some old average guy. Another doper. Who's to say the dope man, he might be getting high too. Shit, it happens. Dope man digging in his own sack. She could have picked anybody to mess with. Somebody from work, somebody around the way, across the street, around the corner. I'm sleeping with the dope man, because I'm sure that's how it became an arrangement. I ain't got no money, but I can give you some coochie. Damn, Quay. I can give you some coochie on the slide. And what did she say? Oh, I owed him $20. I owed the debt. I owed the dope dealer a $20 debt that night. She may have, now that we know that she was having sex with him. So we dumping babies and fucking the dope dealer. Somebody help me out. So what was it all about? Because I'm still trying to understand why CREEPN was the chosen one. You beat up the baby, you suffocated the baby because of what? You couldn't get no dope, you was upset. What? Help the queen understand. Let's go to source number 2, and then we're gonna wrap this on up. LEILANI Simon, a Savannah mother on trial for murdering her 20-month-old son, Quentin Simon, disposing his body in a dumpster. October 2022, told investigators she had driven to Chevron on the night she last saw her son to borrow Orgel from a friend. That friend, Melissa Missy Bray, testified in court on Thursday that she never gave Orgel to LEILANI and had not seen her former co-worker since around July of 2022, when LEILANI borrowed a gas can, which she never returned. Well, that doesn't surprise us. Borrowing things and don't return them. And when you look at this Caucasian lady on the stand, she don't look too well herself. So now I'm going to ask that question. Come on with it, Queen. Is she also a drug user? Like mine's. Birds of a feather, just saying. Bray's testimony was one of the most damning among several witnesses called by Chatham County prosecutors on the fourth day of trial, which began with Leilani Simon's defense attorney, Martin Hillard, cross-examining Daniel Youngkin, Simon's then boyfriend, about his drug use, text messages between him and Leilani, and his relationship with her 3 children, one of whom is Youngkin's child. At one point, Hillard asked Youngkin why he didn't leave the relationship if Simon treated him as poorly as he testified on Wednesday, emphasizing that Youngkin had free will. Exactly. So what did he say? I don't know. I didn't watch all of it. The prosecution then called on David Mullen, a former facility manager at Eclipse Advantage, a third-party labor contractor that Leilani, her brother Paul Simon, and Youngkin worked at before Quentin's reported disappearance. Mullen testified to Youngkin and Leilani's time cards, which were provided to the Federal Bureau of Investigation. He testified that Leilani did not come into work on the day of Quentin's disappearance, and Youngkin left early, running out of the warehouse when he received Leilani's call that Quentin was missing. Wow, wow, wow. So we heard of the wiretapping at the hotel where they went to stay. Leilani and Danny, basically she's going on and on about him questioning her about the Orgel business. And I'm surprised she didn't say, damn, is this room wired? Why you keep asking me the same question? She really is a dodo bird and dumb as a bag of rocks. Pediatric cardiologist who cared for Quentin then took to the witness stand. Dr. Amanda Puentes, a pediatrician who formerly worked at J.C. Lewis Primary Healthcare Center, testified that she was Quentin's last pediatrician. At 13 months old, she examined Quentin during a routine visit, and he was healthy and happy, but she did hear a heart murmur and referred him to a pediatric cardiologist. Dr. Kenneth Birch, a pediatric cardiologist at Savannah Children's Heart Center, evaluated Quentin for the heart murmur. He said he found 2 issues. One was common and the other was a rare coronary fistula. Both Birch testified were minor health issues. Although Birch said anything is possible, he had never seen a coronary fistula cause death. The state then called Leilani's brother, Paul Simon, to testify as a witness. The 23-year-old called Quentin an angel. He testified that Quentin had a decent relationship with Leilani's then boyfriend, Youngkin, although Youngkin would sometimes complain about having to take care of Simon's 3 children. So obviously, he heard him bitching and moaning. Did he talk to him directly? Hey, sick of this. Your sister's a slough off. I'm tired of keeping all these kids. She's running around. She's leaving at night. I'm waking up in the morning, she's not home. Did he ever talk to Paul directly about his relationship with Leilani Simon and having to take care of the 3 children? The next 2 witnesses spoke to Leilani's alleged poor treatment of Quentin. Melanie Boland testified that she met Simon when they were neighbors living in Glenville, Georgia, before the latter had any children. At first, Boland, a teen mother herself, saw Leilani akin to a little sister, but when Leilani had children, moved away, their relationship changed. They spoke less, and when they did speak, Leilani would threaten Quentin, testified Boland. So what was she doing? Hollering, screaming at the child, scolding him, physically abusing him? What is exactly she was doing, and why that kid? And do you believe these allegations? And someone would say, yeah, I believe it because the child's dead. During cross-examination, Hilliard asked about a meeting Boland had with Chatham County Special Assistant District Attorney and Assistant U.S. Attorney Tim Dean in August of 2024. In that meeting, Boland admitted to a seance she said she had with Quentin's ghost, which told her he was in a landfill. Boland claimed that the seance occurred in October or November 2022 before Quentin's remains were discovered in the landfill. Well, maybe she was on to something, but hey, detectives already had the proof they needed because they had her on surveillance at the dumpster at the Azalea Mobile Park. So one would use deduction. She wasn't putting trash in there. Why is she over there late night? And common sense will tell you whatever she put in that dumpster was going to make its way to the landfill. Common sense. Last testimony of the day, 17-year-old babysitter testified to 3 incidents where Leilani allegedly abused Quentin. Babysitter testified that Leilani pushed Quentin from behind into a pool without a flotation device, backhand slapped him after he ran into the street without supervision, and pushed him after he broke LEILANI's brother's PlayStation controller. So now you got to ask yourself, how did the brother treat the children as well? Because wouldn't you be upset somebody broke your controller? Just saying. Jury trial continues Friday morning, where we are right now. Friday. Savannah Now is the source of this information, if you're curious. So now 2 sources of information pertaining to this case. Wow. Hold on one second, everybody. Now, let's chop it up. With cases of child abuse, as I've said so many times in my live streams pertaining to child abuse, there's always an eyewitness. It's just a matter of who's going to tell the truth, who's going to speak up, who's going to stand in the gap for an abused child. And sadly, all the cases are always the same. This is why I complain so much about these types of cases and why I don't like talking about them, because it's redundant to keep hearing bullshit after the fact of what I saw, what I heard. What difference does it make? He's dead now. Somebody said she seemed bitter. Well, I didn't watch any of it, so I'm just recapping clips of videos and content. It's redundant to talk about people after the fact. This happens every damn case I've talked about with children, where somebody comes forward to testify what they saw happen to a child. It has no, to me, it doesn't mean anything. Most of you say, well, it does help. Help who? Didn't help him. He's dead. And she also had 2 other children. So what did I tell you? If you can kill one, you can kill 2 more. She's bitter, she's mad, she's angry, she's upset, she doesn't like her life. He didn't like his life. Parents don't like their lives. So the brother, he's sitting up here testifying about who's happy and who ain't. Well, I know one that ain't happy because he's dead. And I'm assuming he's in heaven, so he'd be happy with our Lord and Savior. But he wasn't happy while he was here on earth. How about that? We have Miss Brake saying she had a seance with a ghost. Come on with all this nonsense. She don't look too good herself up there in the witness stand. I looked at her, I said, she looks sick. Birds of a feather. Don't mean to be judgmental, but I'm calling everybody out. Call it as I see it. I ain't been wrong so far. Everything I said in the live stream the other day came to fruition in court yesterday. Checkmate. So Queen must know what she's talking about. He wasn't happy. Babysitter, cook, chef, butcher, baker, candlestick maker. I think back to my uncle many moons ago. I was sitting in his house. He was my grandmother's uncle, and this was I can tell you when it happened. It was like winter of '92. Queen got that good memory, okay? He's standing in the kitchen with an apron on, and he's complaining about cooking for everybody, because that's what he did. He was the chef. Although his wife worked at a hospital, the local hospital, in the kitchen, but at home, he was the chef for all the children, because she also had children, older, that weren't his kids. She came to the relationship with kids. He married her with already 3 children in tow, and then he made 2 with her, which would be my younger cousins. But anyway, he's sitting in the kitchen with an apron on, and he's like, damn, I'm the butcher, the baker, the chef. So that comes to mind. Because people talk out loud when they're fed up, do they not? You talk out loud when you're upset. I'm sick of this shit. I'm tired of cooking for everybody. I'm tired of cleaning up. I'm tired of doing this. Hey, Queen, she ran it the other night. You know how I get. That's what you do. You talk out loud when you're tired. When you're fed up, you start talking about everything. Hell, I did it the other day. I went from A to Z, because that's what you do when you're fed up. You vent. So what did he say exactly to the brother Paul? I'm tired of this relationship. I'm tired of babysitting. I'm tired of being stuck with these kids. I'm tired of my life. That's why he was drinking every day. People don't just pick up drugs and alcohol as an addiction because they want to. It may start off recreational or a first-time try, but then something usually happens to lead a person into the abyss with alcohol and drugs. He admitted he liked Fireball, whiskey. He's drinking all the time. Bottles in the car. So that means they were riding around drinking with children in their car seats and such, endangering the lives of themselves, the children, and people on the street. It's a dangerous thing. And naturally, if you're a user, you're tangled up with the user. Because why would a person that's straight want to be involved with a pill popper crackhead? You wouldn't. Because you all probably started doing it together recreationally, and then one thing begat another. And now we have an addiction. So we got two people drinking and getting high with children in tow. It's a recipe for disaster. And that's what I said the other day in my live. This was going to go downhill. Please check out that live from Wednesday. There's nowhere for this to go. Because you see, you can do bad all by yourself. It's old black folk term. I can do bad all by myself. Exactly. So you don't need any help. But then you get in tow with another crooked person, crooked creature, crazy creature. Now we've got children. Now we're broke. Now we're getting high. Now we're getting drunk. It's a train wreck. It's a train that's actually on fire with no brakes. Miss Bray says, I didn't give her no Orgel. And we saw the photograph in court, zoomed in, of Ambisol sitting on a shelf above the toilet in the restroom. Checkmate. That picture was golden, was it not? Zoop, zoop, zoop. Zoom in. What's that on the shelf? Ambisol. So what you doing running around talking about, oh, I went to Shamiqua house to get some Orgel, and you got Ambisol on your damn shelf. And you would have it because what? You got children. Come on with it, Queen. They ain't ready. Baby's teeth, if you ever had a child. And really, you don't have to have a child to know that teeth must come in the mouth through the gums unless you have some type of deficiency. So babies need medicine to aid teething. Interesting. I'm sure she was sick to death when they zoomed in on that photograph the other day. I'll be damned. They done took a picture of this Ambisol. Yep, they sure did. And guess what? They also had your ass on camera dumping that kid in that damn garbage can. We had already heard that before the baby was found. YouTube is a you-know-what. When they said the YouTube street stopped, they didn't lie. And you had to have heard the rumor because your mother was up here on YouTube canoodling with that damn donkey out of Canada. So you all knew what was going on per YouTube. And you had to been shaking in your boots then, but you didn't act like you were shaking. Hooping it up, having fun, going to the resort, drinking, being taped on video, just having a good old time while your baby is marinating in a landfill. Didn't find but a bone of a baby. So we got the brother testifying that Danny had an okay relationship with the children. Quentin was a happy baby. Cardiologist saying he was pretty much happy, but had a little heart murmur, but nothing that should have caused death. Minor testifying, that's probably the young girl, babysitter, saying she abused the child, pushing the child down, doing things she didn't have no business with the kid, throwing him in the water. Who throws a baby in the water? He wasn't even 2 years old. So what age was it when she threw him in the water without a flotation device? This was a cruel bitch. She's a cruel bitch. Excuse me, present tense. She's a cruel bitch. And as I said before, if you can abuse one, you can abuse all. There's no stipulation. That's an ideology. And we've seen this happen, of course, now, because you know we gonna flip it. You treat one child better than you treat this one cruel, but you're still a heathen to differentiate because you have no right to be treating one child better than the other. But it happens because people carry baggage around and they take it out on their kids. And it usually always has something to do with the biological parents. So that's who I want to hear from. I want to hear from Quentin's father, because that's going to seal up what was going on in the mind of LEILANI Simon. That's going to show us how we got to a baby being found in the landfill in 2022. Because she had hatred for him. And that's her sitting up in this courtroom looking at everybody testifying. She is hot and mad as hell. And the one guy that she wanted so terribly, he's sitting up there dreadlocked down, sniffling and crying and wiping his nose. You know she was mad as hell. I love you. I did it for you. I'm going to say it again. Danny, why did you lie about seeing that baby in that playpen? Help Queen understand. Because you had no reason to lie. You already said you get up in the morning and creep around, ask not to wake the children, ask not to get her woke and crunk and have her yelling and screaming and hollering. So I'm going to say it again. Why would you lie about seeing Quentin Simon in the playback? Did you know the child was gone that morning? Or you lied to help her because you cared for her? Which is it? And people will automatically lie when they like you or they care for you or they feel obligated. They may not even know what's going on, but I'll go ahead and lie anyway because I see this as a bad situation. So I'm going to go on and lie. But that's a dangerous thing because then you're implicating yourself into a crime unknowingly. But the state has to prove you had knowledge and or was involved. That's their job. It's the burden of the state. And I guess they didn't have any proof that he hurt the child, discarded the child, or had knowledge thereof and thereafter. But you have to ask because, as I said, we've seen thousands of cases of abused children, abused people, murdered people, and other people did aid the perpetrator in the crime, facilitation of murder, co-conspirators, and also aided after the fact willingly, such as carrying a body out, disposing of a body, putting a body in a bag, a box, a tub. You see where I'm going. And it would be even more horrific to find out that Danny Youngkin knew exactly what happened. Because what you have to ask yourself is the obvious, which nobody's talking about it, but I'm going to go ahead and say it because it's the elephant in the room. We don't know how he died. Come on with it, Queen. We don't know how the baby died. So now you got to ask yourself, how did she kill the child in a house with 2 children, a brother, and a boyfriend in the same room? Brother in a separate room, but she and her kids and a boyfriend in the same room, and she's killed the kid. You all better wake up. See, all this court testifying, all these people jumping up on the witness stand, That's a part of the story everybody ain't talking about. Y'all missed that part. How'd she kill that baby with all them people in that room? I'll let that sit right there. Come on with it, Queen. How did she murder the child in the same room with her 2 other children and Danny Youngkin? Anybody got any ideas? Oh, it's quiet now. See, I know how to get you to think. I ask the questions that most people won't ask. Because right now, everybody's talking in circles in the courtroom. He said and she said and what a text message said. Hey, how you feel about the kids? Hey, why didn't you leave LEILANI? Hey, what the fuck was you doing while she's killing that kid? Ding, ding, ding. I'm woke. This is why I never trusted him even 2 years ago. Because what did I tell you? You got to be able to kill a kid. You got to be able to get the kid out. She's in this house with these people. Make it make sense. Now, we know that you can kill a child quieter than killing an adult because he can't fight back. But nonetheless, she and he and those children all slept in the same room. So I'm going to say it one more time. How did she murder the child in that house without anybody knowing? Carrying the child out in what exactly? What was he discarded in? Come on, y'all. Why was this woman not investigated by the Department of Human Services? Why was her mother the custodian of 2 of her children? Why didn't Danny leave her? Why did you stay, sir? And I'm sure you're beating yourself up every day. I stayed too long. I had no business being with her. I had no business hooking up with her. I had no business having sex with her. I had no business making a baby with her. And then the next part of the story is even more disturbing. Are you paying attention? I hope you are. You all had to watch her abuse Quentin Simon. Bingo card. Come on with it, Queen. I'm a lot of things, but I ain't no dodo bird. Say it again, Queen, because somebody didn't hear you. You all had to watch her abuse Quentin Simon because we got a babysitter saying she watched her abuse the little boy, slap the boy, push the boy down on the ground, push him in the pool. We got a girl saying she was hearing her talk crazy to the little boy on the phone when they lived in another part of Georgia. So you want me to believe these other people in the house didn't see the abuse? Paul, Danny, come on now. You all were a party to the bullshit. And this is the part of the story that I hate, because I get tired of people testifying about what they saw and who was nice and who wasn't nice and what they noticed. He ain't getting ready to say nothing bad about his sister up on that witness stand. Probably not. Because he knows he's fucked up. He comes from a fucked up family. They're all jacked up. And we got to pray that we don't look and hear him in a true crime story. Because right now, Billy Joe is 2-0 in the tainted children department. She's 2-0. Stay woke. And where is she at, may I ask? On the road, traveling, working, coming in late night with a beer in her hand, watching the festivities play out, telling herself, damn, I fucked up. I fucked up bad. I wasn't a good mother. I wasn't there for my children. Now look at my kids. I'm 2-0 with murderers as my children. Yeah, that's you. That is most definitely you. Where was the Department of Human Services? Why didn't anybody call? Hey, this woman's abusing her kids. Hey, this is what I'm seeing. Hey, you need to get over there quick. What did I tell you all? Call the police. That's your best option. You see children wandering in the street? Call the police. You don't call DHS. Don't call the landlord. Call 911. Because officers will then go to the house and then they will proceed in an investigation of why the child is wandering in the street, trying to find the parents of the child. And then that usually leads to the whole truth, such as, may we come in, please? And then that's when they'll see what they need to see. Disorganized house, filthy house, cockroaches, whatever the hell they got going on, drug paraphernalia, and then the cat's out of the bag. Poof, voila. Because DHS takes too damn long. Now you got to do everything online. Hold, please. Call 911. Everybody's a party to the nonsense. The house is nasty, filthy. Everybody in there just doing whatever they want. She's getting high. Danny's getting high. So then you got to ask, hell, did Paul get high too? Did they give Billy Joe any money on the rent, light bill, water, gas? Just ask him. Because I can't see you giving money when you can't even keep a house clean. Just keeping it real. Because you lead by example. And nobody in this house is leading nothing. Just a bunch of wolves, pack of wolves, living in a house. And as I said, Billy Joe and her husband, all they were doing was spending money on campers and shit and nice trucks. But the inside need a whole redo. They should call HGTV. Yeah, I said that. But that's what people do with their money. They do what they want, right? You see it all the time. People driving fancy cars, and then you go in their house, they ain't even got no furniture, they ain't got nothing, they barely living. 6,000, 7,000 square foot of nothing inside of their house. And you're like, damn, where's your furniture? Where are your clean towels? Where are your utensils? Oh, we eat out. Somebody gonna be mad at Queen. That damn black woman, she knows how to call a spade. I sure do. We DoorDash. Oh, okay. You just gonna eat out every day? That's single people living. Oh, you know you can get Uber Eats. I DoorDash. So you got to ask that question as well. Hygiene, giving children baths, clean clothes, going to the doctor, making their doctor's appointments. If a woman can't get out of bed to go to work, she's out canoodling with the dope man at night while her boyfriend is keeping her kids. She's also a drug addict and drinking alcohol. You want me to believe she's taking her children to the dentist, to their doctor's appointments? Come on with it, Queen. You all better wake up. Hell no. And then when you watch her interrogation, body cam, she's holding that baby out there on the back porch. I bet that baby wasn't even clean. Because you lead by example, you see. Shaking that leg. She shook that leg in interrogation because she knew she was caught. Her foot was caught in the trap, but she wouldn't fold. And even Daddy said that. She wouldn't give up that Orgel story. Hell no, she wasn't giving up nothing. Until they said, you have the right to remain silent. But she's shaking that leg out there on the porch, shaking that leg in interrogation. Guilty as hell. But she wouldn't fold. Thank God for CCTV footage. Thank God for GPS. Thank God for traffic lights with cameras. Amen. Because that is how most people are caught. Traffic cameras, CCTV footage on buildings, Ring cameras on homes, apartments. Amen. Everybody's unhappy. Everybody's miserable. Pill poppers, dope fiends, alcoholics, raising children. Now one's gone, and the other two are, I guess, in foster care if they haven't been adopted. And then we have to pray for them as well, that they don't end up in a worse case scenario than where they came from. Because we see the stats of children going into foster care, and they don't fare any better than where they came from. So we have to pray that somebody is doing right by the children, because it's a brutal system, foster care. And even if they get adopted, it doesn't mean that they'll go to a loving family. Everything's an illusion, as you can see. People walking by these hood rats, looking at the house, looking at the campers, looking at the nice trucks in the driveway, thinking, oh, that's a nice looking house. It's an okay looking house. Oh, they got nice cars and trucks. Oh, look at that house. Look at it. A baby version of the Amityville Horror. And little did you know, behind closed doors, there was abuse, drug use, alcoholism. Then a missing kid. Then a dead kid. See, you don't know people. This is why you don't put people on pedestals. This is why you don't brag about people. This is why when you see abuse, you call it out day one. You don't watch little children run around in dirty diapers in the street and don't say nothing. You don't keep aiding people who don't take care of their children. You don't keep giving them a free pass. That's exactly what happened with LEILANI Simon. She got a pass. Everybody was aiding her to where she is right now, which is incarcerated and standing trial for the murder of her boy, Quentin. And sadly, there's another LEILANI sitting somewhere doing the same damn thing, waiting on handcuffs, waiting on a grand jury indictment, waiting on an arrest. It's all the same. And then there are other people just like Paul, just like Billy Joel, just like the husband, just like Danny. They're sitting there aiding the bullshit too. So I'm going to say this before I check out. Danny, why did you ride the ride? Why did you stay with her? What was it about her that made you hook up with her? When did it start going downhill? And why did you stay? Why didn't you buck up and get your ass out of there? Now, it's not to say that she wouldn't have still killed that little boy, because she probably still would have, but you wouldn't have been there. And as I said to you all before in my last live stream, I can't see him and her going out here paying rent on an apartment, a trailer, a house, when she couldn't get up and go to work. So that means all the money would have been coming out of Danny's pocket. And eventually he would have folded and got tired. He would have left her. Because that would have been the first thing he would have said to himself. I'm not going to sit here and pay all these bills, and she won't get up and go to work. She don't want to clean. That means he also was dirty and nasty too, because it takes two to tango. He would have left her, and she would have been sitting somewhere in an apartment or trailer, doped up with 3 babies, trying to figure out how she was going to pay her rent. It wouldn't shock me. All 3 kids would have ended up in a damn river somewhere or a garbage can. Stay woke. Because if LEILANI was on her own with those 3 kids, they would have been outside wandering around, or all 3 dead. Because she would have been leaving them alone to go meet up with the dope man, to go out here and make money to get the dope. What did I tell you all in the last live? I said, I won't doubt that she was prostituting. And that's probably what she was doing with him. She's trading her body for the dope. Hey, I'll give you a little coochie. You give me a hit. Or he might have said, hey, you ain't got no money. Well, you have to give me some coochie. You got to give me some coochie for the pills, for the dope, for the cocaine, whatever the hell she was doing. Even swap ain't no swindle. So now we know she was a poor mother, literally. Didn't give 2 fucks about her kids because she didn't give 2 fucks about herself. She used Mr. Danny. He allowed her. She used her mother, the stepfather. She used anybody that she could because she's a dope fiend. We also learned that he also used drugs, Danny Youngkin. But he's one of those type of dopers that get high, drink, but he still can, hold down a job, cook a meal on the stove. But he still rode the ride. So he's just as guilty. So nobody gets a pass in my book. He may have been sniffling and crying up there on the witness stand. Well, she did it too, first day of court. Jury walk in, she's crying on cue. So I can't feel sorry for anybody sitting in the courtroom crying, because their behavior is what got them in the places that they are right now. And at some point, you have to grow up and you have to stand account for your ways and your behavior. And when you are abusing children, allowing people to abuse children, you're an eyewitness to the abuse. You participate. You're a co-conspirator. You will cover up. I can't give you no pass. That's me. And there's no way we can sit up here and say he was in love with her. Sweet Jesus. That ain't love. LEILANI is a miserable bitch. And she's miserable because she came from misery. So then we have to go back in the book of life. How did Billy Joe get treated by her mother? Stay woke. Because this is a generational curse with these people. She was in the street. She was running, getting high, going to prison. How did her mother treat her? Billy Joe. Now Billy Joe has children. They don't fare no better. So now you got to pray for the last two, that they don't grow up and carry the gene pool out into the universe and become fuck-ups as well. Genetics is everything. As I said before, you don't even have to be raised with your biological parents, but you carry their traits. And it'll be a shame to find out these children end up on drugs, alcohol, and they're not even raised with these people anymore. But it's in the genes. But you lead by example. So I pray whoever has custody of these last two, that they treat these children respectfully. Be respectful of the kids. Teach them manners. Teach them to have goals, self-respect. Teach them to love themselves. And that's the one thing that's missing in this story, is love. There was no love. That's why the house was nasty. That's why everybody's bickering and hollering and screaming and arguing with each other, because there's no, number one, respect for self, and there's no love for self. And you can't give what you ain't got. And as Dr. Phil would say, hurt people hurt people. And that's what you have in this story. A bunch of hurt people. And all they were doing was sitting in a circle throwing darts at one another. And Quentin Simon paid the ultimate price. That's my commentary. Drop your comments below this video. Comment on my community page. Check out my extensive library of 3,000 plus videos. Follow the Queen on Newsbreak app, where I also upload content on that network. I'll be back later with a rendition of Court Today, plus an update on P. Diddy and R. Kelly's daughter, Joan. I need to get that content out the way. And currently, Sarah Boone is in court down in Florida. I'll bring you a recap of that as well. Prayers for the other two children. Prayers for all children. And as I said before in my commentary, there is no rush to bear children. And I don't recommend having children out of wedlock. I just don't. People do it. A lot of us have done it, but I don't recommend it. So march your little tootsie down to the health department and get you some birth control, the shot, IUD, condoms, whatever, or just abstain. Because the reason why people are wavering right now is because there's no leadership, there's no guidance. People are just out here free-falling, doing whatever they want to do, looking any kind of way, dressing any kind of way, and this is why the youth is failing. And then they become wayward adults. See, you can't have one without the other. Everybody's mimicking somebody else, but everybody's unhappy as fuck. And with social media, it just exacerbates people who are already tainted, confused, wayward. Don't aid the foolishness. If you'd like to donate to this great network, $ Big Angie 129 Cash App. Thank you for your time. Have a wonderful weekend. Stay safe. Bundle up. Cooler temperatures now. But next week's supposed to be like 76 degrees. Crazy weather here. Justice for Quentin Simon. Pray that the 12 members of the jury will find LEILANI Simon guilty of the murder of Quentin Simon. Because I pray to God we don't get a repeat of Casey Anthony. I would just be floored. Because all it takes is one person to think she didn't kill her kid and put her baby in that dumpster. Thank you for your time. You've been listening to Vault XL.